13:21 on the 13th of the 8th, 2023. And as is visible, I'm coherent, I'm competent, and I am literate in the language of HSE policies. And I am also aware of the defamation laws and the issues that incorporated with the crimes against my good name since I became a married mother in the county of Kerry in the southwest of Ireland. There's an ongoing issue with individuals that have not read the law, that have not updated their systems, their records, or their information accurately, factually, and professionally and respectfully. There are people working with factual information that is slanderous and defamatory, and that puts every piece of social reform legislation in the most dangerous, precarious, unsafe predicament as academic fraud being subject to forgery. So creative intellectual theft is occurring since I became a married mother in this country. The unlawful actions of the bodies that have been notified by formal procedures, most notably the Mental Health Commission, the Medical Council. These bodies have been notified, and that has given rise to COVID-19 from my experiences. And there are social parasites, PR stunts of people that call themselves influencers that are of the poorest PR, putting women and children's lives at risk, offending COVID-19 legislation that came from me and my recovery legislation that is, as I've said, subject to fraud. So the local bodies that are assisting disposability initiatives, unfortunately, are doing a disservice to their safety, offending the law and offending civil rights. These people have displayed ASBO conduct. I don't support aggression or violence against women and children, and I have actually experienced at the hands of these people persons that have suffered irrevocably and without shameful remorse in the past 10-15 years, that have also been incorporated in my experience as a recovery advocate, a humanitarian. So the European Court is aware that the Medical Council and the Mental Health Commission has been made aware, and unfortunately there are individuals in my proximity that think they're above right protocol, slandering a person's name. I'm a lone tenant, I'm a property owner, I am a married mother, and as I live on my own, these people are thinking they're above the law. They're thinking that they're above any responsibility or duty or obligation that they have to safeguard their families by evading, they're blatantly evading their responsibility, negating their obligations, and they're just, as they say, just burying their head in the sand. So the European Court of Human Rights, the European Union, COVID-19 has originated from me. There's huge legislation. It doesn't take very much for the WHO to contact me. The WHO has an obligation to honour the integrity of the COVID-19 legislation. Now, people that are stalking and stealing and slandering are putting the integrity of COVID-19 in high jeopardy, and there is no honourability associated with that when these people have been antagonising and disturbing the peace and disrespecting family units, intruding in people's privacy and private lives, false reporting and slandering my good name. I, as I have mentioned on my forum, recovered and rescued huge wealth, and the implication of the unlawful actions that I have unduly experienced has also brought about measures in healthcare. That's legislation, so I'm protected by state and law, and the state hasn't honoured its dues and its obligations, and it has brought the family unit into disrepute and disrespect, discussing matters that they have no contractuality of disclosure to be imparting any private matters in people's lives or from people's lives or of people's lives that they don't even have knowledge of or experience of. Now, I'm fully aware there are people deluded with information that isn't factual. That puts people's lives at risk. If there are people that are saying that they are in a position of authority with me as a lone tenant, as an adult that provides for myself on the bare minimum from the state, when this state owes me so much dangerous dues, it's very serious what they're deluding themselves with. They're an enemy of the constitution. They're an enemy of the state and they're an enemy of the democracy. Now, these people are stalking and committing retaliatory crimes, and they're making very dangerous implications and very dangerous assertions that they have no right or authority to be discussing. Now, as I've mentioned, it's not too difficult for the World Health Organization to contact me. The Kerry University is fully aware that there have been developments in this community that aren't so savoury. Now, it boils down in many respects to ASBO corruption. Now, people are taking ownership of a circumstance where they've caused very dangerous harm to an innocent life. They've disrespected my child's upbringing. Now, that situation isn't very safeguarded from repercussions, with more problems by ASBOs that don't know how to do business properly or that don't know how to conduct themselves properly. So I'm aware that there are people that think they have an entitlement in this situation. Unfortunately, they're working with falsehoods, fallacies and disinformation, and that puts the people at the top of the shelf down in the very bottom on the floor with this disrespect to the values of democracy, humanitarianism and Aryanism, no less. So those people that are using my name without my authority, that are of academic fraud, any individuals that are claiming to be of COVID-19 and that are monetizing from COVID-19 while I'm experiencing crime isn't going to be supported in any matter or means or by any not by any means of the imagination. No way am I supporting any exploitation of